Hey, story trading VIPs, welcome to the early morning pre-market prep at 8 a.m. And that's because we have 8:30 a.m. Zoom for our VIPs, private event to discuss DRIO earnings and go through their live conference call at 8:30 a.m. We also have PPI at 8:30 a.m. Now, listen, don't forget what is the goal of story trading. It's to make sense out of markets, and don't let anyone ever tell you the market is chaotic and doesn't make sense and irrational. Not true, not true, not true. The markets can make sense. We do a great job of making sense out of markets every day by not only considering technicals. You know who it doesn't make sense to? Purely technical traders. You know who it doesn't make sense to? Purely fundamental traders. You know who it doesn't make sense to? Purely headline traders. You know who it does make sense to? Story traders, because we look at everything holistically. It's a very hard job, but it's very rewarding. We've been right on top of this bear market rally. You can see SPY QQQ up this morning. Now, some of this may hinge on PPI at 8:30 a.m. PPI has been revised downward a little bit because the CPI was good. So it's going to be a little, there's to meet expectations is basically to beat, right? So just keep that in mind. Let me change that background there. So that's coming out at 8:30 a.m. But what's our cheat code? Our cheat code has been helping us so much. It's TLT UUP. Man, I can't, almost every day we come in here and we talk about this, and almost every day the move by the markets by the end of the day, especially RK, matches what TLT was doing in the morning. So right now, TLT up 1%. You can see here still has room to the 50 DMA. So continuation of bear market rally on, especially risk assets. But again, we have to wait at till 8:30 a.m. to see what happens. We like to see UUP matching that, the inverse, all right, to get confirmation that this is an accurate measure of the bond market in pre-market. So this means expectation of interest rates coming down is really what you're seeing when you see TLT up and UUP down, which is good for RK. And we also look at the risk asset there of Bitcoin, BITO, which was disjointed from all of this in the past week or so because of what happened with TRX, I believe it was. So hopefully that's going to go back to being a reliable indicator, but really only need to look at RK as a proxy for risk. Now, let's just quickly look again. What are these targets? I participated on the Wolf Financial Spaces panel last night and got a lot of consensus from peers. We're basically all on board for a pretty significant bear market rally. You can see here the SPY has at least till 405. Someone put out some technicals that said, hey, where's the 50 DMA? That look, this actually can go to like 418 based on Fibonacci retracements and based on prior pre-market bear market rallies. They're looking at 418, which kind of coincides with the 50 DMA. But not only that, the QQQ, the 200 DMA is all the way up here at 308. So I think this is a bear market rally that continues to have legs, and you can make a lot of money in this rally. But again, caveat, let's wait for 8:30 a.m. So if you're seeing this recording at 4 p.m., sorry, couldn't squeeze that in for you, but our VIPs are going to get all that, and we're going to discuss that throughout the day. All right, what else? Big earnings. Yesterday was very busy. There's a lot of news, a lot of tickers here. Let's talk about big market moving stuff first, and then we'll get into some of the micro caps I know our community cares about. But Walmart, BN guidance raise. That's a massive move from Walmart, up 7%. So, man, where are we at? 148. Woohoo. Is that a new? No, that's not a new high. But 148. This is the first time looking at the chart this morning. Takes you up all the way here. I don't trade Walmart. Just bring that to your attention, as this probably is having an impact on the SPY this morning. Home Depot, you can see it's down 2%. Now they beat, right? And they didn't raise, but why is it down? Because they beat and they didn't raise for the remainder of the year, which implies that Q4 might be lower, that you may see a deceleration in some of their financial metrics in Q4. That's what that implies. It's below the 200-day DMA this morning. So based on that, that's something I personally would stay away from because they didn't raise their guidance. I think the pre-market may have it correct there. But there's a lot more to digest. All right. There's a very high level overview of HD based on what I've seen. That's my best guess. Now, big thank you to Vince Capadia yesterday. Capadia TSM. Yesterday, he gave this to us at $75 in after hours because Warren Buffett got a stake in here. How big is the stake? Let's see, $9 billion of stock Warren Buffett got. So TSM, 70, I got in. Vince Probably should have kept it 75 to $78. Now it's $80. TSM potentially has room to $90 over there. There's a lot of congestion here in the $85 zone I'm seeing with all these candles, but $90 is $90 is a 200 week moving. No, it is a 200 day. Okay, $9 a 200 day moving average, a 50 week moving average up at 93. So potential to see TSM up to $90 in the coming swing period. Now, I want to bring to your attention SHLS because it's a very popular stock among traders. This is a solar stock which had good earnings yesterday, and it was maintained by Piper Sandler, the first analyst report coming out. So it had a good earnings report here. It looks like extremely overvalued. So this is one of those names, high growth, very, very high sentiment premium in the solar sector. You can see a 240 PE, now not counting what happened today. So up 22%. Takes it all the way up to 2750, but also this could be a sentiment tailwind for ENPH and SHLS. These are two very popular solar trading stocks that big traders like to trade. So I've never traded either of these. Just bringing that to your attention because there may be good liquidity and good opportunities to trade those if you're into that. All right, now let's get into, before we get RUM, DWAC, Meta, we've been talking about. We nailed that 95 to 112. And I've been saying if this bear market rally continues, 122, the gap fill is the next target. So that continues to be in play, especially if PPI is going to be okay at 8:30 a.m. And especially if that TLT signal continues. I think Meta up to 122 for the next target is definitely feasible in a continued bear market rally. Come back to RUM and DWAC in just a second. All right. MobileEye took our eye off the ball last week. There was a lot going on. Took our eye off the ball late last week on this. So apologize for that. Hopefully you guys were on top of this because this is a great one that I love the sentiment, love the sector with these EV chips for self-driving. And we had Chris Tuttle join us from IPO Canada to tell us that $25 is fair value. Man, he was right about that, wasn't he? Bounced right off of $25. So risk reward has been pretty good on this one. It's a little bit elevated here, but maybe this is something you can pick up on dips. Maybe this is something you can sell puts on. So it's something that is on our focus list, our watch list for the fund that I've started consulting with, the fund which was born through StoryTrading from one of our members who tunes in every single morning to this show and has had a great run. So he started a fund and now I'm helping him with that on the side. So in any way, Meta, MobileEye, all on our list. FREY, another one. Wow, this one last night on Wolf Financial Spaces, one of the best panelists there. Andrew O'Connell, I believe. O'Connell, I think is his last name, from Real Pristine Capital. He has great picks. A lot of the same picks we look at in our community, like has been on air many times. So you got FREY as his pick of the week over here, and I've been telling you there's a top pick from Morgan Stanley with a bull case upside scenario of $60. They had earnings yesterday. Of course, no earnings yet to speak of. There's a lot of capital investments they need to make. Apparently, Bloomberg had a report, a rumor. I think Matt gave that to us. Thank you, Matt. That KKR may be investing $500 million into FREY. This is a company that has a lot of institutional support, obviously, based on all the coverage they're getting and based on this interest that people want to invest. And also, it's in a very, very hot sector, EV battery space. And to me, it looks like it's poised for new highs because the RSI is relatively low. Okay, look where the stock was last time. Look where the RSI last time. The stock was around 15, much higher. Okay, now we have room to still move to like in the 70s on the RSI and potentially challenge or get to a new 52-week high. I think that's on the card. All right, so at this point, I want to circle back to RUM and DWAC. Let's go do DWAC first because that story will be over today. Okay, so DWAC, Trump is announcing most likely at 9 p.m. tonight that is going to be running for office again, and that's what's been causing this entire move up. Now, I avoided this for a while, but the technicals were so compelling, and it's obvious what the sentiment is over here and what the catalyst is tonight. I decided to play it. I've been in and out a couple times. I kept it overnight. So look, this situation could have been better. This is a proxy on Donald Trump's political future is really what this stock trades on. So the midterms weren't so great. Now, very importantly, last night, Carrie Lake lost in Arizona And I believe in the morning you saw this sharp sell-off. I believe there was 100% associated with that. And if Kari Lake won that election, it would have spiked because Kari Lake is seen as a who knows, like the sentiment, they make a dynamic duo, whatever it is, like validation that Trump is still popular. The opposite happened. You saw the sell off right off the morning. I believe that's what happened. So you got one last chance to see some upward momentum because of the event tonight. And then I think tomorrow's a sell the news event. And it may be a sell the news event from like later this afternoon. So be very, very careful with this. Although the technicals are superb, if somehow it breaks $30, like it could spike to $34 to $40 today is possibly on the table. A very high risk type of thing. And I look forward to being completely out of this today. All right. So now let's talk about RUM. So RUM had earnings yesterday. And I think the worst case scenario, the scenario I was preparing for and advising the fund with, I don't think is going to happen. I was worried about the possibility this can have another crash like it had recently, where it dove down to $5, $6, $7, $8. Now, look, that crash developed over many days, and that ended up being a short report that was written on this that was a cause for that. So, but in this case, revenue beat at $11 million versus like a $5 million estimate. But more importantly, I believe their cash burn is so small, like a penny. They lost a penny per share in the quarter. And most of that is because of the money they've been paying to bring on content creators. Now, importantly, in the conference call, Chris Pavlovsky said going forward that they've already exceeded their growth expectations. So they're going to be shifting some of their focus, that basically use of funds, right? An analyst asked him, well, what are you going to use this money for? And he said, we're going to shift we've been hearing our customers, and we're going to focus on the product. If we improve the product, then the growth will come. I was very happy to hear that because I really haven't heard that from him much. It's all been about let's bring the creators on. So good news to hear that from him. At the current burn rate, I think, unless I miscalculated, I did it back in the napkin, I think they have like a 9-year cash runway. So there's no immediate risk of, an offering or anything like that. And, I think this really takes a sharp downward scenario off the table. And if it happens, you buy that up, I think. I think that's the play for RUM. The premiums have been very high here. I think another place to continue selling premiums. We've been short the $10 puts. They gave us $2. I mean, incredible return, which expire, I guess, on December 2nd. So, one of the possible plays is to close that out and sell the next month out already, depending on what the yields are today. So something we're going to have to look at. But all in all, I think it was good news for RUM. I really don't have a handle on which way it's going to go. It's possible the shorts have overplayed their hand and they didn't get like terrible news and they'll have to cover. It's also possible, hey, earnings, although wasn't terrible, it's still extremely overvalued and maybe it will motivate some shorts to sell. I really don't know what's going to happen with the RUM today, but you can see there's relative stability in the stock, I think, which makes it good to continue selling puts, a really fine and great strategy on this stock. All right, moving down, don't forget we have Clearfield. That's a false print. Don't worry about that $100, about $95 this morning. We have earnings coming up Thursday morning, and tomorrow morning we're going to have Chris Tarbert here at 9 a.m. to give us a preview on earnings. I am locked and loaded, guys, on Clearfield, thanks to the excellent research we've had from Eric Niles and Chris Tarbert in the room, and they've been on before, so I'm going to give them another chance. And the whole thesis here is that what we saw with COM, we're thinking this big move down was because COM did poorly, and we're thinking that's not a good read-through for Clearfield. Their businesses are a little bit different focuses, different types of balance sheet situation going. So we're looking for a good quarter from Clearfield. And look, the RSI very low. I did make this one of the Trade of the Week picks last night. We won with it 3 weeks ago. I went with it again. So we'll see. Now, my second pick, I should have probably gone with DRIO, but I couldn't do it because I didn't have the CC yet. And it's very hard for me to make a judgment on a stock that I know so well without a CC. Every morning we come here and we show you great ideas based just on the press release. Man, what was the one yesterday that was up like 70%? Tough Built, TBLT. But for a stock like DRIO, which I know really well, it's hard for me to full-heartedly endorse something without first hearing the conference call. So we're going to hear the conference call in just about 10 minutes, and we'll learn more. Now, a bunch of other earnings came out. VTSI earnings came out. Top line, bottom line, disappointing, but backlog very, very strong. We are actually trying to get Bob from VTSI, Bob the CEO, Bob Vissi, to join us Thursday night at 9 p.m. Well, he did agree to that. I'm just a little disappointed. I haven't like formally accepted the invitation yet, but I don't know, because I wanted the other guy too, his co-CEO, and he can't join. I've had a terrible, difficult time trying to schedule this with them. So maybe we'll take what we can get. So Thursday, 9 p.m. But that's a story here yesterday, which was leaked during the day, accidentally sent out by the IR department over email, and it came out in after hours that they missed. It looked like, headlines. It looks like a pretty bad miss on the top and bottom line again, but the backlog very, very strong. Very, very bullish commentary in the press release. I was not on the CC, so can't tell you about the sentiment that people came away with after listening to that conference call. But VTSI, for those who like the future, maybe a great opportunity. And for those who are reacting to the top and bottom line, some of them have got out already. Now, there's a bunch of other news here. LUCD, we've had management come on. We've interviewed them before. It's been on a run. We pointed this out 4 days ago. Didn't really pound the table, though. I didn't think that news was so significant 4 days ago that they have begun high volume manufacturing. But the reason there was a little bit of sleight of hand in that press release, which is why I didn't jump all over it. It wasn't that they begun high volume manufacturing. It was that they begun manufacturing with a high volume manufacturer. So I thought that was a little bit of tricky wording that, hey, they have the relationship now to do high volume manufacturing, but the commencement of manufacturing, I don't think was high volume yet. So a little bit of trickiness in the wording there, which is why I didn't jump all over it. You can see it bounce off the 20 and 50 DMA. Now, they had earnings last night. Haven't had a chance to look at it, but I do see that Needham is maintaining a buy, but dropping their price target from 425 to 310. I did quickly scan the press release this morning, and it did look like they're making a lot of progress qualitatively, but I didn't really have a chance to look at the quantitatives. Remember, in this kind of market environment, it's all about, do you need to raise money and what their runway is. So I don't yet know what's going on with LUCD, and maybe that's why the price target was reduced here. I'm not sure. You can see 250 would be your target if it's going to have a continuation move, but you do have this early indicator that perhaps some analysts didn't like that. Now, a few other things. CVV had earnings last night, and the headlines weren't great because they canceled the lease buyback, which was the sale leaseback, which is a thing that got me interested into the stock, actually. But since then, they've had good traction on silicon carbide. They got this aerospace customer. So the other thing that we'll have to see, I think Julian was on the call. I'm not sure if Sanjay made it. We've had a presentation on this before, so I want to hear what they say on the conference call. But as far as the press release goes, I was a little disappointed to see earnings not inflect more than they did. Revenue went up pretty significantly year over year, but earnings only went up, much less than I thought. So maybe there's a cost issue there. I'm not sure. They did talk about some increased OPEX, but I think they said gross margins are okay. I think that's what's going on there. But anytime I talk about CVV, for some reason I'm like, let's group in QUIK, TRT, and DAIO with it. That's a new one, DAIO. Why? These are 4 stocks that people like bombard me with messages either in WhatsApp or on Twitter, all looking for the next era. People are like, Ben, this is the next era. This is the next era. The latest one, the next era is DAIO. So now that's on my watch list. So these are all like small kind of semiconductor related companies, which I'd like to learn more about DAIO. I think a couple people in the room said they know about it. TRT had great earnings the other week, but this one doesn't really have that intellectual property that Air has to really explode, but they have great demand and their balance sheet is great and they're making money. So I bought TRT last week for a swing. As you know, I'm still holding that, looking for like 6 or so. Well, you have this 200 DMA at like 535, but where was my other signal closer to 6? There it is, the 50-week moving average over there. So these are a group of stocks to look closely at. QUIK has been very, very strong, and QUIK has had a lot of news, a big news flow recently. So I'm holding this. The chart looks great, guys, doesn't it? Look at these moving averages converging and crossing each other, and been up recently. Lots of good news flow. When is earnings on this? I'd like to know. Let's take a look. Yesterday? Today? Should be soon. Let's see if we have a press release on QUIK. Oh, man, we really got to go. Tuesday, November 15th. Okay, is it before or after the close? QUIK, today, earnings, 5:30 p.m. There you go. All right, so I missed that earlier preparing for the show. We have it now. QUIK, today, 5:30 p.m. Eastern. I'm thinking, at least qualitatively, we're going to get a lot of great news because their news flow has been incredible. And looks like investors are thinking the same thing, buying up the stock into the report tonight. So QUIK, something interesting to look at. TFFP had earnings last night. Haven't looked at it. I'm sorry. Take a look at it if you're interested. RWLK, they got was it an upgrade they got this morning? An upgrade. HC Wainwright, they increased their price target from $2.50 to $3. That's after a recent catalyst of winning some court case, which gives them, or it was withdrawn, some sort of court case withdrawn by the insurer, which means the insurer, a little bit surprised it didn't do better off of this. I'm not in it. I've been shying away from these micro caps that are losing tons of money, but RWLK, something to look into. LNTH got an up price target this morning from SB Lyric. What did I say? I think it was $120. I think they increased it from $110 to $120. I don't know much about this company except they're extremely, extremely profitable. I think that 37 PE is understating it. If you sequentialize, if you annualize their recent earnings, I think it's closer to like a 10 or 15 PE. This is, I think, a med tech company. Yeah, it's some sort of med tech company. So LNTH, we've talked about it before, maybe something to look into. I want to give big kudos to Matt in our community giving us TGB, this stock. We've called out a couple times recently because of Matt's timely notes, and this stock is up like 30% in the past month or so, approaching the 200 DMA at 150. And Matt, this morning, he said late last night, he said there's still some additional big catalysts to come for this mining stock. I believe it's a copper and some other minerals mining stock, TGB. So great pick from Matt in our community. Looking to see if we get continuation. I think we might. DSKE, nice little chart. Yesterday, they bought 28% of their shares back from the founder. So very interesting catalyst there. I got to move quicker because we got to get on Zoom for DRIO. Okay. Did I even talk about DRIO? I don't know if I even said much. So we'll get there. XXII, my other trade of the week pick. XXII, they're at Roth today. They're at Craig Hallam Thursday. It's over the 20 DMA yesterday. Combine it all together, that may be a catalyst to take you to recent highs in the 140s, especially if the market continues being bull. We love air, we love REL, we love ADM, although it's not going to do as great when the market's doing great. So that is all of that. And did I even talk about DRIO? I don't think so. So here, let's set it up because we're about to go into our Zoom. So DRIO, my largest position, but it's kind of lost. Where is it? Do I even care about my largest position? I do. So let's go down and we find DRIO. So DRIO, yesterday, they reported they beat on the top line. They beat on the bottom line. They didn't beat the highest of expectations, though, on the top line. I believe they did beat the highest of expectations on the bottom line because they did a lot of cost cutting over here, trying to convince the market they're not going to need to raise money. They increased their accounts to 85, is it? On track for 100. Yep. They increased it to 85. Their contract value is now 61 million, approaching the 75 to 80 million that they need to break even. So things look good. It's not like a blowout quarter, but the commentary very, very bullish in here. So we're going to hop on to Zoom as soon as I hang up here. The link is in our StoryTrading app, and we'll talk a little more about DRIO and then get the live stream going at 8:30 a.m. So with that, look, I gave you guys a ton of awesome ideas here. Definitely watch PPI. Make sure it's not a big miss or anything at 8:30 a.m. Follow TLTUP for confirmation. And if you get that confirmation after 8:30 a.m. that TLTUP is still in good shape, I think you're going to see an upward bias today where dips will be buyable if you're day trading. So lots of good big cap ideas. If you like day trading those bigger caps, TSM, SHLS, ENPH, all of these could be buy the dip scenarios intraday. If we get a good signal with PPI. I got to go, guys. So I'll see you in just 5 minutes on Zoom. Thanks for joining us and have another great day. We've been on top of it, man. Guys, if you are watching the replay at 4 p.m. here on YouTube, you're missing all of these trade opportunities every single morning. So you can go right now to StoryTrading.com. You can sign up for a 7-day free trial, and we'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Take care. If I can find the outro, which is over here.